The massive alien ship appeared in Jupiter's orbit on a Tuesday morning. It simply materialized there, as if it had always been meant to exist in that exact spot. Earth's governments scrambled to respond. Scientists worked overtime to analyze the readings, and ordinary people looked up at the sky wondering if everything was about to change. Lieutenant Olivia Martinez stared at the view screen, studying the enormous vessel that dwarfed anything humans had ever built. The sleek pearlescent craft reflected Jupiter's swirling storms on its surface. She stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel. Unity, the best ship humanity could offer for this historic meeting. "How are you feeling, Lieutenant?" "Captain Patrick," Sullivan asked, joining her at the view screen. "Like I might throw up, sir," Olivia answered honestly. "But ready for duty?" Sullivan nodded. "Good, because you're going over there with the diplomatic team." Olivia tried to keep her face neutral, but her heart raced. First contact, real aliens. After all the years of searching the stars, wondering if humanity was alone, she would be among the first to know the truth. Dr. Alan Morgan rushed around the science lab, grabbing equipment and muttering to himself. As the ship's leading xenobiologist, he had waited his entire career for this moment. Now it was here, and he had only hours to prepare. "Need help?" Olivia asked from the doorway. Alan looked up, his gray eyes wide with excitement. "Yes. Grab that case, please. I need every biological sample kit we have." "You really think they'll let you poke and prod them?" Olivia asked, lifting the heavy case. "Probably not," Alan admitted. "But a scientist can dream." The team assembled in the shuttle bay, Olivia for security, Alan for science, Captain Sullivan, and 5 others including diplomats and communication specialists. Nobody spoke much. What could you say when you were about to meet beings from another world? The journey to the alien ship took 40 minutes. As they approached, the true scale of the vessel became clear. It stretched nearly 5 miles from end to end, with strange protrusions and patterns that made no sense to human eyes. "They're opening something," the pilot announced. A section of the pearly hull slid apart, revealing a brightly lit chamber inside. "Well," Captain Sullivan said, "I guess that's an invitation." The Earth shuttle entered cautiously. Inside, gravity pulled them gently to the floor. The air pressure and temperature adjusted to match Earth-normal conditions as they landed. The aliens had clearly prepared for them. "Remember," Sullivan told the team as they prepared to exit, "we represent all of humanity today. Let's make a good impression." The shuttle door opened. The team stepped out into an enormous hangar, and there they were, aliens, real aliens. A group of 7 beings waited for them. They stood on 2 legs like humans but were taller and more slender. Their skin shifted between shades of blue and green depending on how the light hit them. They had 4-fingered hands and large almond-shaped eyes with no visible pupils. "Welcome," said one of the aliens in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Sixtel of the Galactic Concord, a union of 17 spacefaring species. We are pleased to finally meet humanity." Captain Sullivan stepped forward. "Thank you for this welcome, Ambassador. I am Captain Patrick Sullivan of Earth. We are honored by this historic meeting." The human team followed the aliens through curving hallways filled with flowing architecture unlike anything on Earth. Olivia stayed alert, scanning everything, noting the locations of what might be doors or other exits. Basic security protocol, even if these aliens seemed friendly. They entered a large circular room with a table in the center. The table appeared to be growing from the floor itself. The humans and aliens sat down together. "We have studied your transmissions for many years," Sixtel explained. "This is why we can communicate in your language. We know much about your culture, your nations, your conflicts and achievements. We know nothing about you," Sullivan replied honestly. "Until today, we weren't even certain intelligent life existed beyond Earth." The aliens made a sound that might have been laughter. "You are very young as a spacefaring species. The Concord has existed for over 4,000 of your years. Many of our member species have been traveling between stars for much longer. For the next 2 hours, they exchanged basic information. The aliens explained that they had detected humanity's radio signals decades ago and had been monitoring Earth's development. They had decided to make contact now because humans had established their first colonies beyond Earth. Dr. Morgan could barely contain his excitement. "With your permission," he said eagerly, "I would like to ask about your biology. Your evolutionary path must be so different from ours." "Of course," Zixtal said. "We also have many questions about human physiology." Alan reached into his case for a portable scanner. As he pulled it out, he accidentally knocked over a small metal tool. When he reached quickly to catch it, the edge sliced across his finger. "Ouch," he said, looking at the small cut. A drop of blood welled up. "Let me see," Zixtal said, leaning forward with interest. Before anyone could react, the alien had reached out, touching the drop of blood with a slender finger. Instantly, Zixtal jerked back with a strange, high-pitched cry. Where the blood had touched, the alien's skin bubbled and blistered. "Medical emergency," one of the other aliens shouted in a strangely musical voice. The room erupted into chaos. Aliens rushed to Zixtal's side. The human delegation stood up in confusion. "What happened?" Captain Sullivan demanded. "What's wrong?" One of the aliens turned to them, the skin around its large eyes darkening to a deep navy color. "Your blood, it burns." More aliens rushed into the room. They surrounded Zixtal, who was still making distressed sounds. One applied a glowing gel to the injured spot. "We need to analyze this," an alien said, pointing at Alan's still bleeding finger. "Contain it immediately." Two aliens approached the humans with devices that looked like transparent boxes. "Please place your injured appendage in this containment field," one requested. Alan did as asked, watching as his blood droplets hung suspended in the field. "I don't understand," Olivia said. "It's just normal human blood." "Nothing about your biology is normal by Concord standards," replied the alien. "Your blood chemistry is highly acidic compared to all known sentient species." The humans exchanged concerned glances. Captain Sullivan stepped forward. "We deeply regret this accident," he said formally. "We had no idea our blood could harm you." "No one is at fault," said the alien, who seemed to be a medical officer. "But this changes everything. We must understand the full implications before proceeding with further contact." Within minutes, more aliens arrived wearing what appeared to be protective suits. They politely but firmly insisted that the human delegation be moved to a quarantine area. As they were escorted from the room, Olivia noticed how the aliens now kept their distance. Their body language had changed. They moved more stiffly, more cautiously. "Do you realize what this means?" Alan whispered to her as they walked. "Our normal blood pH is approximately 7.4, slightly alkaline by our standards, but to them it's like battery acid." "Great," Olivia muttered. "First meeting with aliens and we turn out to be toxic." Captain Sullivan overheard them. "Let's not jump to conclusions. This is just a biological incompatibility, not a reason for conflict." But as they entered the quarantine chamber, with its transparent walls and monitoring devices, Olivia couldn't help but notice the word an alien technician used while discussing them with another. "Acid carriers," the alien had said, with a gesture that looked remarkably like fear. Humanity's first contact had just become significantly more complicated. 3 days had passed since the blood incident. The human delegation remained in quarantine aboard the alien vessel, Harmony of Knowledge. The room was comfortable enough with its soft lighting and strange furniture that adjusted to fit human bodies. But it was still a prison. Olivia Martinez paced the floor, counting her steps, 23 from wall to wall. She had walked this path so many times she could do it with her eyes closed. "You're making me dizzy," Dr. Alan Morgan said from his workstation. The aliens had provided him with equipment to continue his research. It was their way of apologizing for the confinement. "Sorry," Olivia said, stopping. "I just hate feeling useless." The door to their quarantine chamber opened. A tall alien entered, followed by a human woman Olivia had never seen before. "Hello," the woman said with a small smile. "I'm Dr. Eliza Donovan, biochemist from Earth Station Europa. They brought me up to help figure out this whole blood situation." Captain Sullivan stepped forward to greet her. "Welcome to our fancy cage, Doctor. How did they get you here so quickly?" "Some kind of teleportation technology," Eliza said, looking slightly dazed. "One minute I was in my lab, the next I was here. It was intense." The alien who had escorted her made a gentle humming sound. "I am Krelax, Chief Medical Officer. We apologize for the continued isolation, but it is necessary until we understand the full extent of human biochemical effects on our species." Alan stood up eagerly. "Have you made any progress? I've been analyzing the data you sent, but without proper samples of your biology, I can only theorize." Krelax's skin rippled with colors that Olivia had learned indicated nervousness. "We have discovered concerning information. May we discuss our findings together?" They gathered around a table that projected three-dimensional images above its surface. Krelax touched controls on a band around their wrist, and a model of what appeared to be cells appeared. "These are standard cellular structures from my species," Krelax explained. "And now, watch what happens when exposed to human blood." The image changed. The cells seemed to dissolve, their outer membranes breaking down rapidly. "Our research shows that human blood has what we would consider an extremely acidic pH," Krelax continued. "All 17 species in the Concord evolved in environments with much more alkaline biochemistry. Our normal body pH ranges from 9.2 to 10.5. But human blood is only about 7.4, Eliza said, frowning. "That's barely acidic at all by our standards." "To us it is like concentrated acid," Krelax replied. "Additionally, certain compounds in your blood actively break down our cellular structures." Captain Sullivan leaned forward. "Is this why we're still in quarantine? Surely you can develop protective measures." "We are trying," Krelax said. "But news of your biology has spread throughout the Concord fleet. Some are concerned." Olivia crossed her arms. "Concerned about what exactly?" Krelax's color shifted again. "There are those who believe humans are too dangerous to interact with. The word being used is toxic beings." The room fell silent. Olivia felt her stomach knot with tension. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. "That's ridiculous," Alan finally said. "We can't help how our blood chemistry evolved, and it's not like we're going around trying to bleed on aliens." "I understand," Krelax said. "Many of us feel the same way. Ambassador Zixtal has recovered and is advocating for continued diplomatic relations, but others remain unconvinced." "Doctor?" Donovan had been quiet, studying the cell images with intense focus. "I think I may have an idea," she said. "If we could develop a protective barrier, something like a synthetic skin that neutralizes the pH difference on contact." "Yes," Alan said excitedly. "And your people could wear similar protection when near humans." "It would need extensive testing," Krelax noted, but their skin had brightened to a more hopeful shade. They spent the next several hours discussing possible solutions, comparing notes on biochemistry that had evolved on different worlds. Despite the circumstances, Alan looked happier than Olivia had ever seen him. This was the xenobiology jackpot. Totally different evolutionary paths creating intelligent life. Later that night, while the others slept, Olivia couldn't rest. She sat by the large viewing window looking out at the stars. Jupiter's massive form dominated the view, its swirling storms a reminder of how small she felt amid these cosmic events. She heard a sound and turned to see a maintenance panel sliding open. From it emerged a small floating device that looked like a metallic sphere with tiny appendages. It moved around the room, seemingly checking equipment. Olivia stayed still, watching it work. The device approached the table where blood samples from the humans were stored in sealed containers. It extended an appendage toward them. Something about this felt wrong. Olivia stood up quietly and moved closer. The device wasn't like the other technology she'd seen on the ship. Its movements seemed hurried, furtive. The sphere grabbed one of the blood samples and began to retreat toward the panel. Olivia lunged forward, grabbing it. The device made a high-pitched whine and tried to pull away. "What are you doing?" she hissed, not wanting to wake the others just yet. The device struggled in her grip. Suddenly, Olivia heard voices in the maintenance tunnel beyond the panel, alien voices speaking rapidly in their own language. She caught words she recognized from the translation program they'd been using: sample, weapon, and neutralize. She released the device, which quickly disappeared into the panel. The opening sealed shut behind it. Olivia stared at the wall, heart pounding. What had she just heard? The next morning, she pulled Krelax aside during their regular medical check. "Someone sent a device to steal our blood samples last night," she said quietly. "I heard voices talking about weapons." Krelax's colors darkened dramatically. "This is very troubling. There are factions within the Conquered who see humans as a threat. I had hoped they wouldn't act so quickly." "What factions?" Olivia demanded. "What are they planning?" "I cannot be certain," Krelax said. "But rumors suggest some military leaders believe humans could be used as biological weapons against the Conquered. Or worse, that humans themselves are a biological threat that must be eliminated." "Eliminated?" Olivia repeated, feeling cold. "You mean killed? Or altered?" Krelax said, "There is research into compounds that could change human biology to make it compatible with Conquered life. But such changes would be extremely painful and dangerous for humans." Olivia glanced at her sleeping crewmates. "We need to warn Earth. Communications are being monitored," Krelax whispered. "But I will help you. Not all of us see humans as a threat. Many of us are fascinated by your unique biology and culture. We have worked too long to find new intelligent life to lose this opportunity for friendship." Olivia nodded. "Thank you. So what do we do now?" "We continue our scientific work with Dr. Morgan and Dr. Donovan," Krelax said. "The best defense against fear is knowledge. If we can prove that humans and Concord species can coexist safely, the radical voices will lose power." As Krelax left, Olivia watched the others beginning to wake up. They didn't yet know that across the alien fleet, they had become the center of a brewing conflict, one that could determine the future relationship between humanity and the stars. Some saw them as dangerous monsters with acid for blood. Others saw them as a fascinating new species with unique gifts to offer the galactic community. And a dangerous few saw them as a threat to be eliminated. The race was on to determine which view would prevail. The news spread quickly across Earth. Human blood was toxic to aliens. Within days, panic took hold. Secretary Victoria Hayes stood before the United Nations Security Council in New York, her face tired from days without proper sleep. The large screens behind her showed images of protests in major cities around the world. "We need to remain calm," she urged the gathered representatives. "This is a biological incompatibility, not a reason for conflict." A man stood up from the French delegation. "But these aliens now see us as walking biological weapons. How can we trust them not to take preemptive action against us?" Victoria sighed. "Ambassador Zixtal has assured us the Galactic Concord seeks peaceful relations despite this discovery. Yes, there are some hardliners in their ranks, but the same is true of humanity, isn't it?" She nodded toward another screen showing protesters carrying signs with messages like "Earth first" and "Keep aliens out." In orbit above Earth, the situation was becoming more tense. A fleet of Concord ships had arrived, maintaining position near the moon. They hadn't made any aggressive moves, but their presence alone made Earth's military leaders nervous. Captain Patrick Sullivan had finally returned to Earth with most of the human delegation. He now stood on the bridge of Earth's largest defense vessel, watching the alien ships on the view screen. "Any movement?" he asked his second in command. "Nothing, sir. They're just sitting there." Sullivan rubbed his tired eyes. The past week had been the longest of his life. Being quarantined, then debriefed for days upon return to Earth. Everyone wanted to know about the aliens, especially about their reaction to human blood. His communication officer turned from her station. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Concord flagship." "On screen," Sullivan ordered. The face of Admiral Grenthox appeared. The alien had dark blue skin with ridges along the jawline that indicated high military rank in their species. "Captain Sullivan," the Admiral said, I regret to inform you that the Concord High Command has instituted a temporary quarantine of your solar system. No human vessels will be permitted to travel beyond your heliopause until further notice. Sullivan felt his jaw tighten. On what grounds, Admiral? Safety concerns, Grenthox replied flatly. Until we fully understand the implications of human biology on conquered species, this precaution is necessary. After the communication ended, Sullivan slammed his fist against the console. They've trapped us in our own solar system. Back on Earth, Kevin Rivera adjusted his camera drone as he prepared to interview Dr. Alan Morgan. As a journalist for the Global News Network, Kevin had managed to secure the first in-depth interview with a member of the First Contact team. Dr. Morgan, Kevin began, can you explain in simple terms why our blood causes such a reaction in these aliens? Alan nodded. Their biology evolved in environments much more alkaline than Earth's. Their body chemistry operates at a pH between 9 and 10.5, while human blood sits around 7.4. What's neutral to us is highly acidic to them. And there's no way to change this? Kevin asked. Alan frowned. Would you ask an alien species to fundamentally alter their biochemistry to make us more comfortable? Our blood pH is essential to our survival. Changing it would kill us. Kevin nodded thoughtfully. What about the rumors that some alien factions want to use a chemical agent to change humans forcibly? Alan's eyes widened. Where did you hear that? The interview continued, broadcasting to billions of anxious viewers around the world. Outside government buildings, crowds gathered. Some demanded protection from the aliens. Others called for peace and understanding. In Washington, D.C., Secretary Hayes met with Earth's top scientists and military leaders. The Situation Room was tense, filled with the best minds humanity had to offer. What are our options if they decide we're too dangerous to let live? General Frank West asked bluntly. Our weapons technology is at least a century behind theirs, another official replied. If they want to eliminate us, they could do it before we even knew what hit us. That's not their intention, Hayes insisted. Ambassador Zixtal has been nothing but cooperative. They're concerned, yes, but they're not genocidal. A scientist cleared his throat. Madam Secretary, we've been analyzing the data from the Concord medical database they shared. There might be a way to create a synthetic barrier that would allow safe interaction between our species. Hayes leaned forward with interest. Explain. As scientists and politicians debated on Earth, Dr. Eliza Donovan remained aboard the alien research vessel with Lieutenant Olivia Martinez. They had volunteered to stay, working with Krelax to find a solution to the biological incompatibility. Olivia stood watch as Eliza worked in the lab. She didn't fully understand the science, but she understood the stakes. If they couldn't find a way for humans and aliens to safely interact, the fear would only grow on both sides. I think we're making progress, Eliza said, looking up from her work. This compound neutralizes the pH difference without harming either species. Krelax examined the data. Yes, this is promising. But will your people accept wearing protective measures just to interact with us? Many might see it as an insult. Better than being seen as toxic monsters, Olivia remarked. Their conversation was interrupted when the lab door slid open. A group of alien security officers entered, their posture stiff. What's going on? Olivia asked, instinctively stepping in front of Eliza. We have detected unauthorized communications from this laboratory to Earth vessels, the lead officer said. You will be confined to quarters until an investigation is complete. What unauthorized communications? Eliza demanded. We've only been sending research data through approved channels. Krelax's skin paled to a light blue. This is a mistake. I authorized all communications from this lab. The security officer ignored Krelax. Please come with us immediately. As they were escorted from the lab, Olivia noticed something disturbing. The security officers wore sealed suits as if afraid that even being in the same room with humans might contaminate them. Fear was spreading. On Earth, Captain Sullivan received an encrypted message from Olivia. It was brief and alarming. Something's wrong. Security crackdown. Watch for incoming ship, called Purifier. May have hostile intent. Sullivan immediately took the message to Secretary Hayes. We need to find this ship, he insisted. Lieutenant Martinez has never been one for false alarms. Hayes nodded grimly. I'll alert our deep space tracking network. She hesitated, then added, Patrick, if there is a radical faction planning something, we need to be prepared for the worst. The worst being? That someone might try to solve the human blood problem permanently. As Earth's defense forces went on high alert, Admiral Grenthox met with his commanders aboard the Concorde flagship. A holographic display showed Earth rotating slowly before them. The humans are preparing for possible conflict, one commander reported. Their primitive weapons pose no threat, but their intent is concerning. They fear us, Grenthox replied, as some of us fear them. Another commander stepped forward. Admiral, the science vessel Purifier has broken formation without authorization. Its commander, Drazkan, has disabled tracking systems. Grenthox's skin darkened with concern. Drazkan commands the vessel specializing in biological adaptation. Research? Yes, Admiral. Find that ship, Grenthox ordered. Drazkan was among those advocating for a more permanent solution to the human blood incompatibility. As tense leaders on both sides raced to prevent disaster, billions of beings, human and alien, waited to see if first contact would lead to friendship or tragedy. The answer might depend on whether understanding could overcome fear before time ran out. Olivia Martinez paced her small holding cell aboard the alien research vessel. 3 days had passed since she and Dr. Eliza Donovan were confined for unauthorized communications. The cell was comfortable enough, but being locked up while a potential crisis unfolded was maddening. The door slid open suddenly. Krelax entered, looking around nervously before approaching. I cannot stay long, the alien medical officer whispered. But you were right about the ship Purifier. It has changed course toward Earth. Olivia stepped closer. What's on that ship? What are they planning? Krelax's skin rippled with dark colors. Commander Drazkan leads a research team that developed an atmospheric compound. If released into Earth's air, it would gradually alter human blood chemistry to make it less acidic. That sounds helpful, Olivia said cautiously. What's the catch? The process would be extremely painful for humans. Many would not survive the transition, Krelax explained. Drazkan doesn't care about the suffering. He believes altering your species is more efficient than finding ways for our kinds to coexist naturally. Olivia felt cold fear spread through her body. We have to stop them. Krelax handed her a small device. This will open the security doors between here and Docking Bay 5. A small research vessel is prepared for departure. Why are you helping us? Olivia asked. Because true scientific advancement comes through understanding diversity, not eliminating it, Krelax replied. Now hurry. Within minutes, Olivia had freed Eliza from her cell. They moved carefully through the corridors, using Krelax's device to bypass security. Twice they had to hide as alien guards passed by. If we can reach Earth, we can warn them about the compound, Eliza whispered as they entered the docking bay. First, we need to get aboard the Purifier, Olivia replied. We need to know exactly what we're dealing with. Are you crazy? That's the ship planning to attack Earth. Exactly. Best place to gather intelligence and maybe sabotage their plan. Before Eliza could argue further, an alarm sounded. Their escape had been discovered. No time to debate, Olivia said, pulling Eliza toward a small transport ship. Let's go. In Earth orbit, Commander Nathan Green studied the sensor readings with growing concern. His fleet of 12 defense vessels represented humanity's best protection, but compared to the advanced Concorde ships, they were like rowboats facing battleships. Any sign of the Purifier? He asked his sensor officer. Nothing yet, sir, but our detection range is limited compared to their technology. The communication officer turned suddenly. Commander, we're receiving a transmission from Admiral Grenthox. The alien admiral's face appeared on screen. Commander Green, our sensors have detected the research vessel Purifier on approach to Earth. Its commander has ignored all orders to return to the fleet. What are their intentions? Green asked directly. We believe Commander Drazkon intends to release a biological agent into Earth's atmosphere, Grenthok said gravely. This compound would forcibly alter human biochemistry. It would be extremely harmful to your population. Green's face hardened. Then we'll stop them. My vessels are in pursuit, but Drazkon has a head start. I offer our assistance in defending your world. Green hesitated. Could he trust this alien admiral? But what choice did he have? Assistance accepted, Admiral. Send us their projected flight path. As Earth's small fleet moved to intercept, Olivia and Eliza had managed to launch their stolen transport and were now approaching the Purifier, which was moving rapidly toward Earth. How exactly do you plan to get us aboard a hostile alien ship? Eliza asked. Olivia pointed to the ship's rear section. Krelax explained that research vessels like this have external maintenance airlocks. We can dock with one and enter through there. And then what? We don't even know the layout. Krelax uploaded basic schematics to this device, Olivia said, showing the small screen. Our goal is to reach the central laboratory and learn exactly what this compound is and how they plan to deploy it. As they carefully approached the larger ship, Olivia silently thanked her combat pilot training. The small transport responded well to her controls, and soon they were matching velocity with the Purifier. They haven't detected us yet, Eliza whispered, as if the aliens might hear them through the vacuum of space. They're focused on Earth, Olivia replied. Now comes the tricky part. She carefully maneuvered their transport to align with a maintenance airlock. With a soft thud and hiss, they achieved a seal. Moments later, they were inside the Purifier, wearing breathing masks Krelax had provided. These will filter any airborne compounds, Eliza explained as they moved cautiously through narrow maintenance corridors. Following the schematics, they made their way toward the center of the ship. Twice they froze as alien crew members passed nearby corridors. The ship was clearly on high alert, with crew rushing to battle stations. Finally, they reached a door marked with symbols that matched the laboratory on their schematic. How do we get in? Eliza whispered. Before Olivia could answer, alarms blared throughout the ship. A voice spoke in the alien language, then switched to English. Attention all personnel. Human vessels approaching. Defensive positions. They've spotted our fleet, Olivia said. Let's use the distraction. When two lab technicians hurried out of the laboratory, Olivia and Eliza slipped inside. The room was filled with complex equipment surrounding a large central chamber containing a glowing blue-green gas. This must be it, Eliza said, moving to a control panel. Let me see if I can understand what they've created. She began examining the alien data displays, while Olivia kept watch at the door. It's worse than we thought, Eliza said after several minutes. This compound doesn't just change blood pH. It completely rewrites human DNA to make our biochemistry compatible with theirs. Can it be stopped once released? Olivia asked. No, it's designed to self-replicate and spread through Earth's atmosphere. Within days. Eliza looked up, face pale. We need to destroy it. Suddenly, the door slid open. 3 aliens entered, stopping in shock at the sight of the humans. One reached for a weapon. Olivia reacted instantly, lunging forward to knock the weapon aside. In the struggle, her hand struck the alien's face, breaking the skin with her fingernails. Where her fingers had touched, the alien's skin began to blister. The other aliens backed away in horror as their companion cried out in pain. Our touch hurts them too, not just our blood, Olivia realized aloud. Using this advantage, they managed to fend off the aliens long enough to seal the laboratory door. We need to destroy this compound and get off this ship, Olivia said urgently. I think I can overload the containment field, Eliza replied, working at the controls. But we'll have only minutes to escape before it destabilizes. Outside the ship, Earth's fleet had engaged the Purifier. Though outmatched technologically, the human vessels fought with determination, trying to disable the alien ship's engines and weapons without destroying it. Major Stacy Williams led the boarding team that had been dispatched from Earth's largest vessel. Using breaching pods, they cut their way into the Purifier's hull. Remember, we need to capture their command center and stop whatever biological weapon they've developed, she told her team. And be careful. Any contact with your blood or even sweat could seriously harm these aliens. As the human soldiers moved through the alien ship, they faced resistance but discovered their unexpected advantage. The aliens were terrified of physical contact with humans, giving the boarding team a psychological edge despite being outnumbered. In the laboratory, Eliza had succeeded in starting an overload of the containment system. Warnings flashed across the control screens. "We have 10 minutes," she said. "After that, the compound will be neutralized along with half this ship." "Then let's not be here," Olivia replied, forcing the door open. They raced through the corridors, heading back toward their docked transport. Around them, the ship shuddered as it took hits from the human fleet. Twice they encountered alien crew members, but the aliens kept their distance, now aware of how dangerous even human touch could be. As they rounded a corner, they nearly collided with another human, Major Williams, and her boarding team. "Lieutenant Martinez," Williams said in surprise. "How did you get aboard?" "Long story," Olivia replied quickly. "We've set the weapon to destroy itself, but this whole section will go with it in about 7 minutes." Williams nodded. "Then let's move. We have a breaching pod docked on level 3. Together, the humans raced against time, fighting their way through increasingly desperate alien resistance. The fate of Earth hung in the balance with human blood, the very thing that had caused this crisis, now becoming their unexpected advantage in the struggle to save their world. 1 year had passed since the incident with the purifier. The Grand Hall of the United Nations in Geneva gleamed under bright lights as humans and aliens gathered for a historic ceremony. The room had been specially prepared with environmental controls that made both species comfortable. Dr. Alan Morgan watched from his seat as Secretary Victoria Hayes approached the podium, followed by Ambassador Zixtal. Despite everything that had happened, they had reached this moment, the formal invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Concord. Alan glanced over at Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, now wearing the rank insignia of captain. Her quick thinking aboard, the purifier had helped save Earth from a biological disaster. After setting the weapon to self-destruct, she had escaped with Dr. Eliza Donovan and Major Williams's team with just minutes to spare. The explosion had disabled the purifier without destroying it completely, allowing Admiral Grenthox's forces to capture Commander Drazkon and his followers. "Today marks a new chapter in human history," Secretary Hayes began, her voice carrying through the hall. "1 year ago, we faced a crisis born from our biological differences. Today, we celebrate how science and diplomacy have turned those differences into opportunities." The audience applauded as Dr. Samuel Reeves stood and made his way to the stage. The tall, serious scientist had led the international team that developed what everyone now called the interface, a technological solution that allowed humans and aliens to interact safely. Dr. Reeves activated a display behind him showing microscopic images. "The interface is a biocompatible membrane that neutralizes the pH difference between our species," he explained. "When applied as a thin coating on clothing or exposed skin, it prevents human biochemistry from harming conquered species." The display shifted to show humans and aliens working together in laboratories, on ships, and in meeting rooms, all wearing slightly shimmering clothing or gloves that contained the protective technology. Ambassador Zixtal stepped forward. The alien diplomat still bore a small scar from that first accidental contact with human blood, but now wore it proudly as a symbol of first contact. "The discovery of human blood's effect on our biology could have led to fear and isolation," Zixtal said. "Instead, it has pushed both our civilizations to find creative solutions. This is the spirit of the conquered, finding strength in diversity." Olivia leaned toward Alan and whispered, "Pretty fancy words for something that started with you cutting your finger." Alan smiled. "Who would have thought my clumsiness would lead to interstellar diplomacy?" After the main ceremony, guests mingled in the reception area. Most aliens wore protective coverings, though they were now designed to look like fashionable clothing rather than safety equipment. Humans wore similar protective layers, as the aliens' highly alkaline biology could cause mild irritation to human skin with prolonged contact. Dr. Eliza Donovan approached Olivia, carrying 2 glasses of champagne. "To surviving first contact," she said, handing one to Olivia. "And to making it work despite biological incompatibility," Olivia replied, clinking her glass against Eliza's. They watched as Admiral Grenthox engaged in conversation with Commander Nathan Green. The 2 military leaders had developed a respectful relationship after working together to capture the Purifier. "I heard you've been offered a position on the first joint mission," Eliza said. Olivia nodded. "Captain of the security team on the Concord exploration vessel Unity. We leave next month to explore a star system at the edge of Concord space." "Nervous? Excited? And you?" "I heard the xenobiology research team wants you to lead the Earth branch." Eliza smiled. "Someone has to figure out how to make our biology less terrifying to our new friends." Across the room, Secretary Hayes was speaking with Grand Counselor Vexna, the highest-ranking member of the Concord present at the ceremony. "Your protective measures have made remarkable progress," Vexna said, gesturing to the interface technology everyone wore. "But I understand some humans find it burdensome to wear these layers constantly when interacting with us." Hayes nodded. "It's a small price to pay for interstellar friendship, but yes, our scientists continue to work on more comfortable and permanent solutions. Our scientists have discovered something unexpected," Vexna said. "The compounds in human blood that are harmful to us have remarkable medical applications when properly processed. They can treat diseases that have plagued some Concord species for centuries." Hayes looked surprised. "So our biological incompatibility might actually save lives?" "Precisely. What was once feared as a weapon is now being developed as medicine." As the evening continued, Alan found himself standing beside Krelax, who had been promoted to Chief Science Officer of the Concord Diplomatic Fleet after helping Olivia and Eliza escape. "I've been studying your planet's history," Krelax said. "Humans have often feared those who were different from themselves." "Unfortunately true," Alan admitted. "We've fought wars over differences far smaller than having acid blood compared to your kind. Yet here we are, finding ways to connect despite differences that span evolutionary paths on different worlds," Krelax observed. "Perhaps that is the true test of intelligence, not developing technology, but overcoming biological programming to fear the unfamiliar." The ceremony reached its pinnacle when Ambassador Zixtal and Captain Sullivan stepped onto the central stage. They carried a small box between them. "Today we demonstrate the ultimate symbol of our new understanding," Sullivan announced. They opened the box, revealing 2 pairs of plain, unadorned gloves inside. "These contain no interface technology," Zixtal explained. "They are simple fabric, nothing more." The audience murmured in surprise as Zixtal and Sullivan each put on a glove from their respective pairs. Then in a historic gesture they shook hands, human touching alien directly for the first time without protective technology. "How is this possible?" someone called from the audience. Sullivan smiled. "The interface technology has been improved to create a more permanent solution. Dr. Reeves has developed a treatment that temporarily modifies the outer layer of our skin cells to neutralize the pH difference. It lasts about 12 hours before needing reapplication." "This is just the beginning," Zixtal added. "Our scientific cooperation will continue to break down barriers between us." Later that night, as the celebration wound down, Olivia stood at a large window looking out at the stars above Geneva. Soon she would be traveling among them, representing humanity on a Concord vessel. Captain Sullivan joined her by the window. "Quite a view," he said. "And soon you'll have an even better one." "It's strange to think that a simple difference in blood chemistry almost prevented all this," Olivia replied. Sullivan nodded. "Throughout human history, we've found reasons to fear those who are different. Different skin, different languages, different beliefs. Now we've met beings with truly alien biology, and after that initial fear, we've found common ground." "You think it will last?" Olivia asked. "I have to believe it will," Sullivan said. "Besides, I hear the Concord is particularly interested in our help with a situation developing at the edge of their territory. Apparently there's a species out there that even they find difficult to communicate with. And they think humans might help." Sullivan smiled. They said something about how a species that can turn a biological crisis into a medical breakthrough might have the creativity needed for truly alien problems. As they turned back to the celebration, a message appeared on Olivia's communication device, her official orders for the joint mission. In 1 month, she would be among the stars, proving that differences in biology didn't have to mean isolation or conflict. What had begun with fear and misunderstanding had transformed into something remarkable. 2 completely different forms of life finding a way forward together. And somewhere out there, new challenges waited. Challenges that would require the best of both human and alien science to overcome, proving once again that diversity, even down to the chemistry of blood, could be the universe's greatest strength.